Hey everybody, this is Rabbitearsblog, and welcome to my movie review series. Today's movie review was requested to me by Newwaytoofeelthepain, and you can check out their channel in the description box below. Now onto the review. FernGully The Last Rainforest was an Australian-American animated film that was directed by Bill Courier and was based off the book by Diana Young of the same name. This movie was well known for presenting an environmental message about protecting the rainforest and its importance to the world. It also starred several popular celebrities as voice actors, including Robin Williams as Rabbitearsblog, Tim Curry as Hexus, Samantha Mathis as Krista, and Kristen Slater as Pips. Also, the film managed to get a direct-to-video sequel called FernGully 2: The Magical Rescue. Now, before I get into what I liked and hated about this film, I would like to give out a brief summary of this film. The film starts off with a curious fairy girl named Krista going off to see a part of the rainforest outside of her home in FernGully that she has never been to before, and it was then that Maggie, the sprite of the forest and a motherly figure to Krista, starts telling Krista the story about how humans and fairies used to live in harmony together until an evil spirit named Hexus came and nearly destroyed FernGully. It was then that the fairies had to band together to trap Hexus in the tree, but by then, all the humans had disappeared and the fairies believed that all the humans were wiped out in the world. However, when Krista finds a crazy yet hilarious fruit bat named Rabbitearsblog, who was experimented on by humans, she becomes curious about the humans at Mount Warning and decides to go there to find them. It was there that Krista finds that all the trees were marked with red X's and that a construction crew was cutting down the trees. Among the construction crew, Krista meets up with a male human named Zach, and eventually she ended up shrinking him in order to save him from a falling tree. It was then that Zach and Krista ended up having adventures in the rainforest together, and Zach starts learning about how important the rainforest is to the fairies, while also developing feelings for Krista. Meanwhile, Hexus ends up being freed from his prison when the construction crew ended up cutting down the tree he was imprisoned in, and he plans to destroy FernGully with the construction crew's machinery. When I first saw FernGully The Last Rainforest, it came out during a time when environmental movies and TV shows were a big thing. During the early 90s, we had movies like Once Upon a Forest and TV shows like Captain Planet that tries to encourage the audience to take care of the environment, and to a lesser extent, Jetsons the movie, which was more like a corrupt corporation destroying the home world of some cute creatures. FernGully The Last Rainforest was an unusual type of movie, as it does preach about taking care of the environment, or in this case, taking care of the rainforest. But there are lots of fantasy elements added to the film, such as magical fairies living in the rainforest, and a demonic spirit that tries to destroy the forest. So it's basically a fantasy film with environmental themes underneath the story. What I really liked about this film was the fact that it was trying to tell the audience about how important the environment is to the world, and how it's even more important to take care of the environment. I also love the way that the rainforest FernGully was portrayed in this film, as the designs of FernGully were based on the rainforests in Australia, which I found to be extremely impressive, especially considering that the cartoonists working on this film actually did spend time in the real rainforest to help get the realism of the rainforest down in their drawings. I also really enjoyed the characters in this movie, with my favorite characters being Krista, Zach, Rabbitearsblog, and Hexus. Krista was a great protagonist of this film, as she is shown to be an innocent fairy that is very curious about the world outside of her home in FernGully. You can actually see her determination trying to learn more about the human world, and also how she tries to tell Zach about how important protecting the rainforest is to not only the fairies, but to the humans as well. Now, some people might see Krista as being annoyingly naive whenever she is talking to Zach about how humans live in the city, or how could humans survive without trees, but seeing as Krista as the fairy who has never seen a human before, I think it was a pretty accurate way to describe her curiousness about humans in general. Zach was a fantastic addition to the cast, as he seems to go through the most character development out of all the characters. I love the way that Zach started off as being oblivious to how important the rainforest is to the fairies, to actually caring about the rainforest when he befriends Krista, and saw how beautiful the rainforest really is when he explored it up close. Hexus was a fantastic villain, as he was truly frightening and menacing to look at. Even though Hexus only showed up in the film halfway through, I loved his frightening presence as it gave the film an intense vibe, especially when he wanted to destroy FernGully to get revenge against the fairies that trapped him in the tree. Tim Curry's voicing of Hexus was fantastic, since I normally see Tim Curry doing voices for villains, and he usually sounds brilliant at voicing them. But with Hexus, Tim Curry truly sounded so menacing and frightening when he voiced Hexus's glee in destroying the rainforest. But probably my most favorite character in the entire movie was none other than Batty Coda, the fruit bat. I love the fact that he's the film's comical relief, as he seems to have multiple personalities and recited various quotes from different movies due to being experimented on by humans. Robin Williams does a fantastic job at voicing Batty, as he sounds hilarious and gives so much energy to Batty's character throughout the film. If there were any problems I had with this film, it would be that I wish that the characters had more background history than what we're being given here. For instance, it was stated at the beginning of the film that Maggie was teaching Krista to take care of the rainforest, but we don't know how long Maggie has been teaching Krista her magic skills or how long Krista has known Maggie. I would have loved to see a brief history being shown between Maggie and Krista that explains why Krista was the one chosen to take Maggie's place in protecting the rainforest when there were many other fairies around who could do the job also. Did Maggie see some kind of potential in Krista that she didn't see in the other fairies? Another problem that I had with this film was that I felt that some of the musical numbers sort of distracted me from the environmental message that this film was trying to give to the audience. Usually one of the issues I have with films that are musicals is that sometimes the songs that are being sung in the movie does nothing to contribute to the plot of the story, with The Nightmare Before Christmas being one of the few exceptions to this. So I sometimes got a little irritated every now and then when there was a song number, like the song sung by a hungry goanna lizard named Lou, who wanted to eat Zack, that interrupted the flow of the story, and I would spend most of the film wondering what was so important about that song number being in the film. Overall, I give FernGully The Last Rainforest an 8 out of 10. Even though I took off a few points for the lack of character background history and for the environmental messages sometimes being glossed over because of the song numbers, I think that this film was really fun and cute to watch, and I appreciate the fact that there was a film that actually tried to approach the environmental concerns of society and tried to teach the audience the importance of taking care of the environment. Well, that's my movie review on FernGully The Last Rainforest, and be sure to check out more of my videos in the near future. I'm Rabbitearsblog, and I'll see you later.